I reckon that some people, they watch them all videos that I do, and they get really excited when they see, like, their favourite issue of Stephen Altman, or their favourite issue of Extra Factors, and then they get really, really annoyed when I never ever review it. If you think that buying comics and then not getting around to reading them is bad, here is a comic I have owned since 2006 and only now I've read. It took us 14 years to read this, and I wish it had taken 14 years more because this is poor. This is Blue Beetles #1. Back in 2006 I bought this because I love Blue Beetles, and then I found out it was a new Blue Beetles and I never bothered reading it. This is the first comic starring the Jamie Reese version of Blue Beetles. Before this, he was introduced in Infinite Christmas, and he featured in about 4 pages of the old crossover. And now it is his chance to break out as a new, exciting solo character by just banking on the name and recognition of Blue Beetles. I am a huge fan of Blue Beetles, and even back in 2006, this just got off on the wrong foot with us by being nothing more than a substitute. This isn't, at least not yet, this isn't a legacy hero. It's not someone taking up Blue Beetles' name and mantle to honour him. It is someone just taking them things for themselves. It's not great, and honestly, I think it is a bad look for a new character to just come along out of nowhere and take someone else's identity. That alone, that idea, it's obviously a significant blow to the people most likely to buy a Blue Beetles book in the first place. My issue with this comic, it isn't even that he is Hispanic or Puerto Rican or whatever he is. I honestly don't know, the comic doesn't make it clear. My problem is that this is just a bad comic with amateur art and half-arsed writing which never presents any reason to attach yourself to Jamie Reese besides something as superficial and hollow as him vaguely looking like you if you're of the same race and heritage. I really mean this, I really do. I think that dead Beetle Kennedy character in that other book, he was more compelling and relatable than Jamie Reese is in this first issue. And the writer of this, Kevin Giffen, I like Kevin Giffen, and in the same year this came out, he also wrote one of Marvel's best ever crossovers. And then there's this, which is just bad. Blue Beetles, he fights Green Lanterns, the Gary Gardner version, and I got me hopes up thinking it was going to be because Gary Gardner, he's like angry that some pretender has come along and taken his friend's name, but it's not. I don't know why he is attacking. It's never explained, and then he just leaves at the end after having achieved nothing and proven nothing. So then we have bits that are meant to be establishing Jamie Reese and fleshing out his character. And the thing with this character is, in this issue, he is a total cipher. There is no personality. He's like just a boring person. Also, the art is crap. It's like proper crap. Look at that. That is crap. This feels like the blueprint for about 40 current Marvel comics. And the girlfriend is able to pick up and throw the big friend because, yes, Queen, slay. She does this for no real reason. If that's how she treats her friends, I'd hate to be her enemy or for her to exist. We keep cutting back and forth between the poorly drawn fight scene and the poorly drawn backstory. And the art is so bad that there's this bit where Blue Beetles, he raises his arm, and the idea is that Blue Beetles is not in control of his body or his arm, and it's raising itself in self-defense, and this is not clear at any point with the art. To the point where I am still assuming that is what this is meant to be. It's really not clear at all. And who'd have thought that the right-wing Green Lanterns with a Richard Spencer haircut would be the baddie in the first issue of the all-new, all-diverse Blue Beetles. I have no problem with this character existing, and a lot of people really like him. Probably not from this issue. But I'm led to believe there are good comics and good stories with Jamie Reese in them. My main gripe, it's just that in order for this character to exist, they have to both get rid of the original Blue Beetles, it was one of my favourites, and then milk and exploit what limited appeal and prestige his name has to instead insist upon this new, unrelated character. And he is unrelated, that's the other thing. He had never met Blue Beetles, he doesn't have any connection to Blue Beetles. His powers and his entire setup is nothing like Blue Beetles. He actually has superpowers and shit, and a completely different origin. The title of this video though, it's in reference to something that I said to a friend when I was describing a diversity in a comic book video. And I thought, hey, that would be a good title for a video, despite it having nothing to do with this comic. A bit like how Jamie Reese has got nothing to do with Blue Beetles. Oh, that's a clever layered bit of thing, innit? There's also this weird sense that they honestly think a twist for this book is revealing that the random kid we have been seeing in the cutaways is actually who Blue Beetles is. Like, you couldn't have ever guessed that, could you? And then he goes to bed and his scarab starts talking to him. That's our cliffhanger, that it talks to him. And I really didn't think the book at any point won us around. I didn't read it all them years ago because I flipped it open and realised it wasn't Blue Beetles. It was a new version that I didn't care about. But at least for those 14 years, I had the possibility that this was actually really good. And I was just being unfair to not bother with it. Now I have read it, and I find it's quite a sloppy and almost undignified attempt at, well, not much. I think I'm gonna give it 7 thumbs up.